What up, you weirdos? Dave here, and I like doing obligatory versus episodes about knives, or very small multi-tools. Today's contestants are the Gerber Dime and the Leatherman Squirt. Both of these are their keychain models. Gerber is one. The Dime is one of Gerber's only ones. The Squirt PS4 is one of Leatherman's many. There's also the Micra, the Style, blah, blah, blah. They all serve different purposes. These are the two that are most closely related to one another. So these are the two that are best for comparison. So beneath my professionally constructed index card here, we have a series of contests. The screwdrivers, the blades, the pliers, whatever. Measuring up one against the other. Basically, me saying which one I believe is superior to the other. Here's a hint. I answer that question at the end of this video. Haha! Spoiler alert. So let's get started. First off, we have the pliers. And this was actually a bit of an issue for me. I started out by saying that they were dead even because, as we can tell, the pliers are very similar. Plier heads are very similar. The Squirt seems a little bit more robust. The Dime has better spring action. The Dime's opens wider. The Dime its nose is much finer. You can see where it meets there, which makes these excellent heavy-duty tweezers. Better at that than the Squirt, certainly. The wire cutters measured about the same for me. So these were about even for me. My biggest issue, though, was in the spring. Yes, the Squirt it's a little bit clunkier, a little bit slower, maybe a little bit weaker. But the spring action, that little hook there, stores tension inside these handles. So the spring action is inside the handle. Whereas the Gerber Dime, that little cutout, give me a second, I was not prepared for this. The little cutout right in there, right there, that is the spring action. Which means that the spring on that very thin piece of metal, they're about the same size in general. But that just feels somewhat insecure to me. So I like the spring better, but the spring is also much more exposed and therefore more delicate. So I initially labeled these as even, then I thought about that, and I gave the edge to the Squirt. Good on it. Next issue was the main blade. This is also a point that I gave to the Squirt. Even though I do like the blade on the Dime, as I have said before, it's a blade style that I do quite enjoy. Which one is it? I believe it's this one. There we go. We had this baby right here, a little bit of a sheep's foot thing, completely non-threatening. It doesn't really have a functional point. It is just made for cutting through title cards, which it does. Actually, not nearly as well as I thought it did. Okay, so blade, pretty decent. Unfortunately, because it is Gerber, it is made up completely of mystery steel, which I don't care too much about directly. It's just one of those things. If you don't care enough to tell me what the products you're using, or if you're ashamed of the materials you're using, then that's lame. You're bad for that. Boo. The Leatherman Squirt main blade, much simpler, much more classic, much more shiny. Blade style at that, and it is also much sharper. It is sharper, it has a functional point, and this is made of 420 high carbon steel. I don't know what that means, but they told us what it was made out of, and I appreciate that. So yeah, point goes to the Squirt for it being sharper, it being a more generally useful blade. Like if you have this on your keychains, you can use this to cut string off your clothes. This is not a tip that's getting under anything. So, point to the Squirt for that. Next up, I legitimately forgot, is the scissors. The Squirts used to come in the P4 and the S4. The pliers in the scissors model. The PS4 denotes that it has both primary pliers and also secondary scissors. The Gerber dime also has scissors right in here. They are about the same size. The Gerber dime might be a little bit, there we go. The Gerber dime might be a little bit bigger, but I gave this point to the Squirt again because the tip is much sharper, and I believe the blades on the scissors are also much sharper. You can see the grind in there. The Gerber dime, actually, now that I'm looking at them closely, somewhat resemble plastic children's safety scissors, as far as how sharp the edges are. Definitely useful. Will cut string, but they're not going to give you the performance of the Squirt PS4. Down to screwdrivers. I initially gave this to the Gerber dime, and quite frankly, I'm not entirely sure why. Ow. As you can see there on the bottom, the Squirt PS4 comes with one flathead, one Phillips, both of which have terribly difficult to use nail nicks. I'll get there. But they're nice and sharp and useful. I have used these on small screws. The flathead also has the bottle opener. On the Gerber dime, the Phillips has a file. I'll get back to that. And a flathead. Both of these are useful. The Phillips is a little bit bigger. Hopefully, there we go. The Phillips is a little bit bigger on the dime. Excuse me. But I haven't noticed any major difference in performance. Both function, both work. I didn't really see any reason to give one the edge over the other. So the screwdrivers, I count as a wash. Both good enough for the size. They are the best that can be expected out of a keychain multi-tool, which, quite frankly, is the kindest thing that I can say about any kind of keychain multi-tool screwdrivers. Bottle opener. This is the biggest structural difference between these two tools. Here we have, screw it, bottle opener I showed you on the Squirt, that's a thing. On the dime, that's the major hook. It is, I don't care at all about bottle openers, but it makes for a very useful carabiner loop. So that's what I use to carry in the carabiner. And it's also bigger. I assume you would be able to get more force. I assume this is more functional. I don't know. I don't care. It's bigger. I'm giving the point to the dime. The file. This is actually unnecessarily large on the Squirt PS4. I don't care about being able to file anything. Just for a quick nail file, I don't need a tool nearly this big. I actually don't like how big it is, but it gives you the fine side, the grooving side, and the coarse side, and it is in all ways excellent. There it is. Gerber dime was designed by a drunken intern. That's garbage. It is inescapably small. the Gerber dime is trash, the Squirt wins. The file is trash. Extras. Little look-see. Alright, I'll get to that later. Extras. Everything that the Squirt has, the dime also has. Plus a set of tweezers, which aren't great. They're flimsy little things, which obviously they're going to be considering the deployment style, but they are my favorite style of tweezers, the pokey end that you can use to dig out stuff. And the Gerber dime is essentially itself a heavy-duty set of tweezers, a very heavy-duty set of tweezers. So the pokiness of the tweezers, useful for digging out ingrown hairs, and then you can use the pliers. One tool that is less nasty than my explanation of that is of the box cutter. This needs to be standard on everything ever. I would much rather have this on the Squirt PS4 than that massive, massive file. The dime, I love this. Thank you, dime. So the Squirt doesn't actually have any extras. The dime wins on the two of those. Price point. This is a major difference between the... I'll get back to that. Screw it. Title card was a fun gimmick. Size, I give to the Squirt because it's a little bit shorter, just in the natural body length, and that bottle opener makes the dime actually relatively massive. That's useful for me because that's the hook that I use. But I know a lot of y'all just want the smallest tool you can get, and as far as Keychain multi-tools, inch for inch, which is the higher quality, the Squirt is the smaller of the two, so it wins on that. Fit and finish. Luckily, this dime doesn't rock nearly as much as my other one did when I got it, but the Squirt doesn't show any rock either. So just overall presentation, its appearance, its aesthetics, its deployment of things, I give most of that to the Squirt. However, just know that the nail nicks on the screwdrivers are garbage. For the scissors, they have a little bit of a cutout in there. No such for the screwdrivers. There really needs to be just a little bit of a cutout right in there, like you did with the scissors, so that you can reach your thumb in there. On the dime, everything is much easier to access, although I do struggle with remembering which side is the cutter and which side is the knife, but that's more personal issue because I'm a highly intelligent individual. Both of these come with split ring loops. The Gerber dime you can't move. The Squirt I don't care about being able to carry on my keychain. I keep it in a pouch. So I pushed that in, and I can't remember. I think that's it right in there, right under the main blade. And it's fine if you use it for that. They're equal. You're good. The price point is a major difference between these two. Leatherman prices their Squirt at, if I remember correctly, $28 on their website. I bought mine from REI for around that, I think, $25 at the lowest. Gerber prices their dime at $20, I believe, which is near about what I paid for it at Academy. So at, what is that? Not a third the price. About 2/3 the price. Gerber dime I see as much better value. The Leatherman probably better quality. The dime unquestionably better value. And you can't question it because what I say is absolute truth. So yeah, between these two, the Squirt I see is better, probably. I'm not actually all that emotionally invested in the difference between these two. But the dime is unquestionably my favorite. Like I said, it's the one that I carry. Because it is the one that I find most useful. If all you're looking for is a big hook that will allow you to carry around a knife, scissors, and a cutter, right there. That's all I needed for the dime to win for me. is to give me a big hook and that. These two things, one of which I don't use for the purpose it's meant, and the other, which I believe should be on everything ever, that's the selling point for me. So both of these, hell, mosquito bite. Both of these, I believe, are worth your while if you have any kind of appreciation for multi-tools, for a company's ingenuity in taking the most number of things and compacting them all into a smaller thing and being able to explain that well. I would suggest getting both of these. If you have two different sets of keychains, pick them both up. Why not? But if you are on any kind of a budget, or you're just looking for the quick and easy, whatever's going to do the job, I say dime. So there we go. Dime wins. Throw that on the couch. There you go. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, or if you would like to weigh in on your thoughts of Dime versus Squirt, let me know below. Other than that, have a great day.